Does tesamorelin make you hungry? Now, here's something that a lot of you aren't going to like to hear because you read online and it doesn't increase hunger, but I found in my personal experience and clinically, if tesamorelin is used alone, it can increase hunger because growth hormone is your youth hormone. And you remember when you were a kid, you could eat everything in the fridge. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to explain exactly how it can increase hunger, but I'm also going to explain how that can be very beneficial, especially if you are on like Ozempic or Mounjaro or any kind of GLP-1 or, losing weight, but you don't want to lose muscle. Tesamorelin can be the absolute game changer when it comes to your longevity and fitness goals. So let's jump in and talk about tesamorelin. Tesamorelin, what is it? Well, it's a growth hormone releasing peptide. In the clinical studies, it was FDA approved right around 2011, 2012 for HIV patients who had what's called lipodystrophy, or they had an accumulation of belly fat. And what they found is that these HIV patients were able to lose roughly 19% of their body fat in 6 to 12 months by using tesamorelin. But the other thing that it does is it also increased their muscle mass. So in order to increase muscle mass, you've got to have better metabolic function. A lot of you have metabolic burnout. Metabolic burnout is when you don't really feel satiated after a meal, even if you've eaten a healthy, nutrient-dense meal. Metabolic burnout's when you just can't seem to lose that extra 10 pounds because your stress levels are high. Metabolic burnout shows up when you're not sleeping great. It also shows up when you're not making gains in the gym. So maybe you're working out really hard or you're doing these runs. My son's training for a 50-mile run in Kaysville in October, and he's striving, but he had to take a week off because he started plateauing. And I'm like, well, dude, you got to take a break. And he's very determined to finish this 50-mile race. He's like, that doesn't fit my training protocol. I'm like, well, nothing will if you don't give your body a break. So metabolic burnout starts showing up in those moments. So tesamorelin, one of the beautiful things that it does is it activates the growth hormone from your pituitary. And when you've got adequate levels of growth hormone in your body relaxes. It says, oh, we have good immune function because growth hormone is influencing your thymus gland, which is the direct access to the intelligence of your T cells. Tesamorelin is also really good for creating more insulin sensitivity through the IGF-1 pathway. Tesamorelin turns on the genes in your brain to activate BDNF. And even in the clinical studies, they found that men with mild cognitive decline who are over 60, they noticed an increased verbal composite score. They increased their spatial learning. They increased their alertness and their attention. And they also increased their memory and recall just by using tesamorelin. So it's working on all these beautiful pathways, but in doing so, it does increase the metabolic demand. So when you get out of metabolic burnout, now you're going to need some protein to build muscle. And so tesamorelin will start working on the ghrelin. It will work on the hunger pathway, on leptin and ghrelin. And that's where ipamorelin, when you stack it together, it can make a really calming effect on that hunger response. But in some of the cases, for those of you who are on like Ozempic or Mounjaro or what are called GLP-1 agonists, many of you do need that extra hunger so that you're not losing your healthy muscle. Because one of the big goals is if you want to lose weight once and lose it for good, then you got to build muscle, because what muscle does is it allows you to start resisting that metabolic burnout. It keeps your blood sugar stable. It protects your heart. But the most important thing it does is it creates an adequate energy demand. When you have a lot of fat in your body, you'll have times of the day where you have massive energy demand, where you get so hungry, and then other times where you have no hunger at all. A lot of my clients who come in because they want body composition change, the thing that we do when we run their labs, we find out that their hemoglobin A1C looks good, nice and optimized, but their insulin fasting is like 2 or 3 times greater. And they are the ones that skip meals. And they're like, oh, I can go without breakfast. I'm usually not hungry until about 1 or 2. And they said, I thought that was healthy. But actually, you want hunger in the morning. And especially if you're looking to build muscle, most of you are going to need to get some protein in the morning. And especially you ladies, be careful if you're fasting too long. It can be detrimental to your overall health. So the hunger, if you don't have hunger and you're on a GLP-1, now there's a difference between hunger where your body just really craves some food, where you just, you remember when you're a kid and you just were like, man, I got to eat. That's a different sensation. That actually is a really healing thing in your body, because having a little bit of hunger means that ghrelin's being activated and it's helping repair the stomach damage and the gastric lining. So sometimes hunger can actually reduce the inflammation in your gut and make you more prepared to eat food. So if you never get hungry, that's not always a good thing. And so when you're on GLP-1s, as many of you may or may not know, but what it does is it turns off that ghrelin signal that says, Regan's hungry. And by the way, if you want just a little trivial fact, when your stomach grumbles, the medical term is called borborygmus. And so occasionally you want some borborygmus, like every day. And that's okay. It's actually just think of that as your gut healing itself. And so when you got the borborygmus, you're in the pocket. But when you're on the GLP-1s, a lot of times our patients will tell us, hey, I think I need to go higher up because I'm getting hungry. And I'll say, well, do you have more metabolic demand? That means, are you exercising more? And they'll say, yes. Okay, are you getting your protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight? And they'll say, no. And I'm like, okay, let's start there. So really, if you have the hunger on tesamorelin, don't be alarmed. This is totally normal because your whole metabolic system is changing. You're going through a complete body transformation. You want to get the muscles out. And sometimes it's not about weight loss, it's about having healthy weight. And the healthy weight is when you've got maybe 10 to 15% for men, 15 to 22% for women, body fat, and then you have lean tissue or muscle mass on the other side of that. So have a little hunger, start with protein, get your protein in the morning. Here's your takeaway. If you feel hungry, start your morning, get 30 to 50 grams of protein. Men, after you work out, get hydrated before. You can eat a little 10 grams of protein of something before you work out if you're super hungry and don't like the distraction like me. I don't like working out when I'm hungry because then I'm just trying to bust out the workout so I can go eat. But women, you want to be getting 15 to 30 grams, like for most of you, first thing upon waking. And then you want to get, go work out and then get the other 30 to 40 grams of protein. So ideally in the morning, aim for 40 to 50 grams of protein, get the same for lunch, and then 50 to 80 at night, depending on your goals and your weight, and that can help circumvent the hunger. And so if you love this video and you want to go deeper on tesamorelin, go to agelessfuture.com. Ageless Future, we're all about optimizing your health. It's no longer a medical model that's going to serve you when it's just focused on disease and symptom base. What we do is we focus on health optimization, and we'll show you how when you go there. And then I've provided a free gift for you. If you like it, go down to the link in the show notes and you can download a free copy of my book, The Peptide Blueprint. I'm Regan Archibald. Honored to have you here. I'll see you on the next video.